Hey guys, welcome to another video on Marvel. Anyway, to the point of this, which is, what am I hearing about the actual finished show itself behind the scenes? Well, I have a couple sources within Marvel, and some of them are saying good things. Some of them are saying things that could be very good. Some of them are saying things that are not so good. It's very confusing. It seems that it's divisive even to the people within Marvel. So let me talk about what I'm hearing and then what I believe and don't believe. Okay, so the first thing I completely don't believe, and I'm just going to get out of the way now, that I'm hearing is this was not finished in 2022. They did secret reshoots and managed to keep it out of the press. So what we're seeing now is a touched up version with much better CGI. They went back and redid it so the Ironheart suit and things will look better than they do in the old versions of the trailers. And basically, what we've seen is not what we're getting. It's a very early version of what we're actually getting. I don't believe this because I feel like we would have heard about reshoots if they were of a substantial nature, and I believe it was finished in 2022 because no actual official source has come out and debunked that, so it's been on the shelf for 3 years because Marvel's worried about it. So that's one thing I'm hearing that it's meant to be a positive thing, but I don't. No evidence to make me believe it at the moment from what we're seeing from the marketing. However, it does make me excited to be wrong and actually want to check this out because I pray I am wrong. I just don't believe it personally. I'm not naming any of these sources, by the way, because if they're named, then they could very well lose their jobs and their behind the scenes and background roles. So obviously, I can't do that. The other thing I'm hearing that I kind of do hope to be the case, but also it worries me. Let me explain. Is they actually didn't do reshoots, but they did do better touch-ups on the CGI, and that's why part of the reason why they delayed it. Also because obviously the plans weren't going well, so they wanted to make this as good as possible, and they did do touch-ups on the CGI, but didn't do full reshoots. If they did touch-ups on the CGI, that's a good thing, because it means they don't want to give us poor CGI stuff like She-Hulk. She-Hulk was ridiculous in some of her scenes, and I can't believe how much they spent on that for what we actually got. So, believing the touch-ups on the CGI thing is seen as a positive because it means they are as invested as they possibly can to doing as much post-production work as they can and fix as much in post as they can before they premiere Ironheart. But it's also bad because if it took them this long to get enough decent CGI artists in a room, because of their previous mistreatment of CGI artists, I'm not saying that there wouldn't be reasons people wouldn't want to work with them, because they were being given ridiculous hours and weren't being paid properly, from what we were hearing before a while back, and that's why part of the reason why the strikes happened. And the main focus was meant to be that, but bigger actresses like Rachel Zegler were just like, I prefer to be paid for streaming numbers. Just like, this isn't about you. You're a millionaire from 2 films. This is more about the people that are minor and getting paid far less that can't live in this industry. That's the key point of it. Anyway, so I can see why they might need to do CGI touch-ups because far more CGI artists would be bitter at Disney and bitter at Marvel for the amount of workload they were putting on them for, quite frankly, rubbish pay. So it's understandable that they would need to do CGI touch-ups at some point and basically entice them to come back after a tumultuous period that the industry is still healing from. So I can believe that, but it's a bad thing because if it took them this long, then it means their relationships with CGI artists in Hollywood is not good, and these films like Marvel, DC rely on CGI artists, so hopefully James Gunn can do better at keeping people in his good graces than Kevin Feige and Marvel are doing right now, if this is true. If it's not the case that they had problems getting CGI artists in the room, but the CGI took this long, then it's still bad because how much did they spend on something that they believed they needed to do so much post-production touch-up work? Why didn't they just reshoot bits of it or reshoot fully? So why didn't they just, instead of saving themselves basically production or post-production hell, why didn't they just do that? Why didn't they learn from Daredevil Born Again? They've shelved it for long enough, they could have. So I'm glad in one way that they're listening to fans and they want to put better, full quality CGI in a Disney Plus show. I question whether they have the budget for that and the ability to waste money on it with current optics of current films, with Thunderbolts being not as bad as some reports are saying, because some reports are saying it's like 100 million plus over, underperforming what it needs, and it's not. It's about 54 million. 54 million is still bad, like it's still a loss, especially when they spent 250 million on making the film when you include marketing. That's why it needed to make so much. And that's an insane amount of money to put into a smaller film of a team that no one's really heard of that's put together like Thunderbolts was. So that's an insane thing to do, and optics-wise, performance-wise, that is not great. It's good that it endeared fans, but it needs to keep endearing fans, and they can't afford to lose the train. When I say endeared fans, I think that it had good elements, but was bad overall, so I don't really like it. But overall, it seems to have really swept up a lot of people into Marvel fever again, or at least think that the machine is back on track. So even if I disagree with that, partially, then, it's good that fans think that, right? So we'll see what happens, but it needs to basically keep that momentum now, and Ironheart doesn't look like it's going to help with that. Like, if it's spending this much money, this is just a giant money hole, and they should have just said, we're doing reshoots. If they wanted to save face and save the character, that's what they should have done, because they've already put money into it. If they couldn't put any more money into it, they should have just kept it shelved, and then people would forget it was a thing eventually. So, it's not good if the CGI has been touched up in one sense, because it shouldn't have taken this long to do it, unless they were taking the time it needed, in which case, good, but have they reflected that in the budget? I think not, because they're basically putting this out. I thought they were putting it out within the space of 2 weeks, they're not. By the sounds of recent reports, they're putting it within the space of 4 weeks, not 2. So the first 3 episodes premiere on week 1, then 1 episode for the next 3 weeks, is what we're getting, so that's... At least they're showing more faith in it than I originally thought they had. But the marketing and the media and stuff, material that I'm seeing, doesn't make me care. I'm glad in a way they touched up the CGI, because it means they do care about fixing as much as they can in post-production. But can they survive this budget hole hit? I suppose they can survive it more by releasing it than just keeping it in the can. It's weighing up cost-benefit analysis. But I don't know, what do you guys think about all this? I personally think that, if nothing else, the rumours about the CGI and full reshoots, the full reshoots one I don't believe, the rumours about the CGI touch-up makes me feel they're listening to fans, whether it was financially wise or unwise, and that might give them more hope in the long run, and it might, at least it intrigues me to watch the project and judge for myself, which is more than the marketing and the trailers have actually done. And, I mean, I guess if nothing else, these rumours, whether true or not, and we're dealing with rumour territory here, don't mistake me, I'm taking from trustworthy sources, but they could be misleading me because they're going off personal opinion, and I could be wrong, and I accept that. But these rumours are endearing me to at least dare to watch the show and see which rumours end up being true and false, more so than any of the marketing is doing, because the marketing is, frankly, in my opinion, just terrible. It's outlandish. It doesn't make any sense to me. The trailers are showing off the worst parts of Marvel, in my opinion, or at least the one trailer I've watched. I haven't watched trailer 2. I will now put my money where my mouth is and see if the marketing has improved with the latest trailer. So there'll be more videos on Ironheart. Like this video if that's what you want to see. Anyway, I'm rambling, so I'm going to stop now. That's the end of the video, guys. Thanks for sticking with it. You can go now.